guys? Welcome back to another AFS Health and Care podcast episode. I like these ones where we get to talk to real people in this. So if you're watching, you see this handsome man to my right here. Keith has been a member here for some time, right? I'm trying to think. I went back to look at when you actually started, but I couldn't find it.
It's been that long ago.
When did you? I know that we took a break during COVID, but when did you actually come in?
Okay, well, one of the reasons I started was to lose weight for my son's wedding, and that was probably about 9 or 10 years ago.
Was it 9 or 10 years? That was like when I came on the scene.
Yeah. I think I was here before you, but
you
came
were
in shortly after I had started.
Yes.
Yeah. The only person who is still here from those days that I'm aware of is Chris Early, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you were here, and Devin and Jared were here. Nate was here.
Yes.
Got it. So Keith has been here for a long time, but Keith took a little bit of a break, and he has come back with a vengeance. We were just talking about his high school reunion and all these people that were, 70, 71, 72, standing next to Keith, and what a vast difference in terms of just like overall health.
You said that, not me.
I just said. So, I mean, Keith, with these episodes, just want to kind of get people's real story and real health outcomes to hopefully inspire other people that are watching or listening to take some action around their health.
Right.
So let's maybe start with kind of what you were talking about when you went to PT on how you got. What was it that brought you into the world of health and fitness?
Well, years and years ago, the first time that I came here, I spent most of my career sitting behind a computer, and that just wreaked havoc on my posture. I'd have to go to physical therapy routinely to deal with golfer's elbow, tennis elbow, messed up shoulder, bad back. And my son was getting married, and I said, I'd really like to lose about 40 pounds before I see all these relatives I haven't seen in forever. And but I'm nervous about doing the exercise because I've got all these injuries. And so the physical therapist said, you should check out Applied Fitness Solutions. So I did, and it was fantastic. At the time, I was doing the fitness classes.
Circuit training stuff.
So, the circuit training.
Yeah.
And they basically, the people I was working with, they knew what my injuries were, and they said, you skip that one, but instead of doing that, you do something else, because they were really careful about making sure that I didn't injure myself further. And
did you work out before then? Like before you went to Probility or exercise?
Not in earnest, But I will say that after being here, I did try to do it. I tried to maintain it even after I left. I can't remember what it was. I had some other injury. I think I might have torn my meniscus walking the dog. So I decided I needed to pull back here. And I sort of was working on that with physical therapy, and then I joined another gym and sort of worked out on my own. And I found that I was very motivated, but I kept injuring myself because I didn't know what I was doing. So I thought I got to find somebody who can tell me how to do what I want to do correctly, so I don't make matters worse. And that's when I came back here, and it's been fantastic. It really has.
That. It's like building a house.
Yeah.
If I were to go try and build a house, I wouldn't know what to do. Keith's an architect, you guys.
Well, the thing that I learned that I didn't know about, which I should have known about, is one of the biggest corrections I had to make was I had to develop a little bit of patience.
Oh,
I was all ready to dive in there and lift way more weight than I should at the level where I was, and it was non-productive. I was making matters worse, and I wasn't achieving the goals that I wanted, and so I started doing personal training with Adam, and he told me to slow down. And he told me a number of things that were not intuitive, and the results have just been great. I mean, I think that's why we're here.
Well, that's the thing. Like you had some really incredible, like, objective results around, improvement in strength and your body composition and movement quality. Like we can test and measure all that, which is all important, and that's great to capture. The other thing is also how people feel and how it applies to like their daily life, right?
Well, right. Well, so I started, and then I got a 90-day assessment. And after 90 days, the first thing that Adam told me was, "You're a half inch taller than you were."
That's right.
I loved that.
We don't see height changes too often.
Well, my posture was so bad.
Yeah,
I mean, that was all it was. I didn't grow. I mean,
sure.
At my age, you don't.
We should sell that.
You go down instead of up. But yeah, I thought that's fantastic, and I noticed that I was able to. I mean, everybody says put your shoulders back, stand up straight. Well, that's sometimes easier said than done. So I was really happy about that. I mean, all the rest of the stuff was great, but that was the one that
you don't
really got me jazzed.
I was surprised when I saw. I'm like, wait, what? What are you stretching? You had him on a stretcher or something? Like those torture machines?
Yeah, it's just shoulders back. You know, and he's worked on strengthening my back. The other thing was when we started, he said, "What are your goals?" And I said, "Well, like most guys, I just want to get bigger." And so he did this evaluation, and he said, you can't just get bigger. We got some flexibility things to deal with. And the nice thing was that after 90 days, he was able to actually measure the improvement in my flexibility, and there actually was some, and I actually could feel it. So that was really cool.
Yeah, and I want to get more into what you're currently doing here in a second, but I think it also is important to talk about the old, or not maybe the younger Keith, because you weren't always like an exerciser, workout person. I think it's rare for people to come in the doors that are like motivated to like go and exercise. Like you were very motivated, like let me get in there and do it, and injuries happen. But that wasn't always the case.
No,
right?
It was. I mean, I was always somewhat interested in it, but to be honest, I didn't really see myself as the kind of guy, for whatever reason, that could do it. I really didn't think it was possible for this person to do it. It's just a self-concept thing. And then I tried to retire. I keep getting new projects. Yeah. But I figured this is one of the things I want to do with my retirement, is just to really kind of dive into this. And I've really enjoyed it. I've been very, like I said, very motivated. That wasn't an issue for me. But
when did that flip switch for you? When did that self-concept kind of change from this isn't me to now I'm all about it?
Well, after I came here, I mean, I had a conversation with Chris Early, speaking of Chris Early, about this whole thing. And, now when I look back on that, I think, things are different now. I feel pretty comfortable doing this. And and I'm not sure why I didn't before, but it was, I enjoy it. I mean, I really enjoy it, in fact, Adam has told me, you cannot come every day of the week. You have to take a day off. Uh-huh. So I must sound like a fanatic, but I really get a lot out of it.
I think it's it's late in life to make such a pivot in any behavior, particularly your health. When you're, most people that are exercising, that are into their 50s, 60s, 70s, they've been doing it since as kids when they were playing sports, and it's just been this lifelong thing. It is more rare to hear stories of people that are in their 40s or 50s or 60s that are now adopting this behavior.
Well, I would think that you may find more than you think, because one day you look in the mirror and you say, I'm not this aging thing. You're going to pull me into old age kicking and screaming. And this is one of the things that I can do. I mean, obviously everybody gets older, but I can make it better than it might otherwise be. And I did mention that a lot of my friends in high school that I ran into, they were not in particularly good shape. They had a lot of health issues, and I feel fortunate. I think a lot of the ways I've avoided some of those things is by coming here and being active.
Yeah.
So I've been pretty happy about that.
So this is my next question for you. You've made some pretty incredible physical health changes from what we can measure, but it also feel like there's some other, like you mentioned, self-concept and mental health stuff that's happened too. Why is maintaining this routine with your health so important to you now?
Well, like I mean, I want to remember, I want to be able to travel. And when I think a lot of the tours are set up for older people who have the time and can afford it. But when you go online and you read descriptions of the tours, they tell you how much walking is involved. They tell you how strenuous it's going to be, because they know the audience that they're appealing to. And there are a lot of tours that are set up with, pretty demanding walking regimes. So that's one thing that, that I want to be able to do. And, you know, I don't know. We had our kids a little late in life, so we're going to be having grandchildren a little late in life. And if I'm going to have grandchildren, I want to be able to interact with them instead of sitting on the couch and watching them. So
That's big.
there are things like that.
Yeah, that's big.
Yeah.
Are there grandchildren on the way right now?
Not on the way.
Okay.
And I'm not sure that it's going to happen, but maybe it will eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, both of my guys are in relationships, and yeah, I think at some point there'll be somebody there somewhere.
Yeah. No, it's important that, you know, I don't know this yet because as a early mid 30-year-old, you don't necessarily think about,
Right.
you know, the aging process as this
Right.
when you're in your 50s or your 60s. But it sounds like you're attaching a lot of your health outcomes or health goals to being able to do things that you want. Travel,
Yeah.
kids, grandkids. You want to look at that walking requirement and be like, Psh, no problem.
I can do that.
I got
I want to be
this.
able to say that. So
Yeah.
yeah.
No, I love it. Okay. What about because this is not an easy process to make automatic. Going to a place
Right.
to do exercise or to be mindful of your health, that's demanding. It's a full-time job. What are some obstacles that showed up for you?
Well, I think really at the outset is motivation. You think, okay, I want to do this, and then you get in and you ask yourself, do I really want to do this? This is too hard. But I would say that for me at any rate, there was the first 3 months of it was about like that. You know, do I really want to go? And that was what was so nice about AFS's fitness class, because you know, you don't even have to think about it. You don't even have to get motivated. You go in there, you go through the circuit, and an hour later you're done. I remember when I started, they would cool down by having you lean forward and touch your toes. And I had this big fat gut that was in the way that I thought to myself, I'm never going to be able to touch my toes. And about 2.5, 3 months into it, one day at the end of it, I reached down and oh my God, there were my toes. I got them.
You did it.
I was so happy, you know, but it's just, you know, sticking with it. And realizing that, you know, you got to ignore those voices inside you that say, I can't do this, or I don't want to do this, and just, you know, make yourself do it. And I know there are days when I come in here and I haven't had enough sleep, or, you know, I'm not quite as energetic as I am on other days. And, you know, I've talked to Adam about this, and he's got strategies, one of which is, okay, don't worry about the weight, worry about range of motion. You know, you can focus on that no matter how tired you are. And all of those things have been very helpful in just keeping me sick, allowing me to stick to it, which I think is really the most important thing. Once you get past all that, you love it.
Yeah, that's where people fall off, is getting past the sticking point of starting.
Right.
It's challenging.
Right.
And it's not just because it's a new behavior. That's hard to do in itself. It's
Right.
like it's a challenging new behavior.
That's
I'm going to
right.
this place to move my body and be sore the next day and sweat and get my heart rate. Like, that's not pleasant.
But it's also cool that it's a challenge, because, you know, if you stick with it and you meet the challenge, you've met the challenge. And I don't know, that makes me feel good when I'm able to address a challenge and you know, respond to it and actually take it on.
Yeah.
So
It's that
I've
architect
been pretty
intensity.
I'm pretty happy about that. I mean, it does. It's like I'm constantly, you know, challenging myself, competing against myself to try and get better. And you know, if I do, then, you know, pat myself on the back. It just feels good.
That's love it, man. No, that's awesome. Now, you mentioned that like the motivation of starting was challenging. Would you say that was your largest obstacle, or did other things come up that maybe got in the way as barriers?
You know, the only other barrier that I faced was schedule.
Scheduling.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was just really
That's a big
busy.
one for a lot of people.
It is. And, you know, now looking back, I say I kick myself, because I think, you know what, you should have made time. You know, that's easier said than done. I get it. I mean, we were raising kids. I had my own business. I mean, it was, I had a lot of demands on myself. But the other part that bothers me about it is that when I was younger, I could have made progress more quickly than I'm able to do now. But I'm still doing it, so that's good enough. You know, I have to take what I've got.
Yeah, time is big, especially when like to your point, if you have a family, maybe like a younger family, and you're working full time, let alone running your own business.
Yeah.
How did you schedule that in?
Well, that was another thing, nice thing about the fitness classes. They were offered at certain limited times. I had to pick one. I stuck to that schedule, and I just worked around it. This hour is going to be devoted to this. I can't schedule any other meetings, appointments, or do anything else. My family was aware of what I was doing, so that was pretty much the only way to handle it. And I only came twice a week at that time, which is way less than I'm doing now. But even so, it still worked. I mean, it really did.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Most people think when they start their exercise plan or health plan, it's got to be all in. I got to change my diet 180 degrees. I got to exercise 6 days a week. I got to sleep 9 hours a night, which is great. And if you can do that, wow, more power to you. But in reality, it doesn't work that way.
Right.
And there's a ton of research to that twice a week mark in particular. Like if you can go from 0 times of exercise or from 1 time of exercise to 2 times a week of exercise, really like the health changes that happen there, particularly like muscular health and muscular fitness, it's pretty drastic.
I can
It's
attest
massive.
to that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And as far as the eating is concerned, that was another component that AFS helped me with at the time. That there's an app that you can use to track that's kind of a pain, but on the other hand, I found it to be well worth it because I started to understand what I was eating and what nutritional components the different foods that I was eating actually had and how that contributed to my weight and my muscle building and all that sort of thing. So even though that is not all that much fun, it's a little tedious, it's really eye-opening.
Yeah.
I highly recommend that.
Yeah. So I actually want to get kind of a snapshot into like a day in the life of Keith, the pending retired architect that is now a health wellness guru. What's a day look like for you when you kind of build everything together? Work, food, working out.
All right, I get up in the morning. I have a couple of cups of coffee. I
What do you put
pick
in your
away
coffee?
at the computer. What?
What's in the coffee? What do you put in there?
1 teaspoon of sugar and a little bit of milk.
Okay.
Yeah,
Got it.
because I don't love coffee, but
You don't love coffee?
No, but I needed to wake up. So
What kind of coffee do you use?
I just use instant. Okay, coffee connoisseurs are not going to approve of
no.
this. I just put
Judgment.
instant coffee in the
Got it.
microwave, heat it up, and I'm good to go.
Don't worry. I'll work on you.
All right.
right,
Then after that, to come here, I have a protein smoothie that I put together, and then I take food out. I mean, I'm very conscious of what I eat. I try to maximize the protein. Okay. So then I'll have either chicken or lean ground beef that I'll thaw. I'll do all the things I need to do to get ready to come here, get dressed, brush my teeth, all that kind of stuff. Zip over here, do my routine, go home, make lunch, and then I have the rest of the afternoon to work, at the computer. Sometimes I try to get out and walk 3 miles on top of that, but sometimes the weather doesn't allow that. Sometimes my work schedule doesn't allow that, and any appointments or meetings that I have, I honestly schedule them around my time here. I'm generally meeting with clients in the afternoon. Yeah. So I've pulled back on the amount of work that I do so that I can continue to do this, and that's pretty much what I do. And then I try to get sleep is an issue for me. I'm not a very good sleeper, but I try to get 7 hours a night. I usually get 6, and I also try to stop being a couch potato at night. I watch TV and eat
couch potato
snacks and
Got
that
it.
kind of thing. I got to cut that out. But anyway, that's pretty much it.
And that's the daily. That's kind of the norm.
Yeah. On the
Day in
weekend we
life.
do other things.
Yeah.
Some special. Oh, and every Saturday night is pizza and a movie night.
So you and your wife?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's terrible, but that's when I indulge. I'll have
That's the social health, relational health thing you got to do.
All right. Well, that's what we do.
What do you get on the pizza?
Well, my wife has celiac disease, so it's got to be gluten-free. So we have a frozen pizza,
yeah.
but we just load it up with artichoke hearts and sun-dried tomatoes and just all kinds of vegetables.
Oh, you're getting veggies on there.
Yeah, a lot of veggies.
Okay,
yeah,
beautiful. Yeah. So your days. I mean, I love that you have the ability to move things around like your health needs. It sounds like that's number one. Not everybody has that ability, but if you can prioritize that's awesome. But I also hear you doing a lot of outside of the gym type of health behaviors.
Yeah.
Like getting outside and walking and nutrition. How has that played a role in your success?
I think it's been a pretty significant role. I think if I ever get to the point where I'm trying to lose weight, I think walking is critical. You know, I also feel like I want to get in more cardiovascular because I think it's beneficial. So that's why I walk. And as far as food is concerned, I mean, I listen to all the guys around here about what you should eat to build muscle. So I keep trying different things and, you know, some supplements and that sort of thing. Nothing too crazy because it makes me a little nervous to put things in my body that I don't really understand. So I'm pretty conservative about that, but you know, like I said, I do the protein shake. I've talked to nutritionists and, you know, they've told me, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. Do it, you know, so.
Yeah, that's great. I love it. I think we might be running low on time, but so I want to put this question to you. The people that are listening, do we get, what is it?
20 minutes.
We're 20 minutes in? Oh, we got plenty of time.
Yeah, I was going to say you guys are.
Oh, yeah. Okay, we're doing good.
I have Adam. And
Oh, actually, no, dude, we don't, because
Yeah.
he's got to work out in 4 minutes. I don't want to keep Adam waiting.
Yeah, ask that question.
All right, I'll ask you this. People that are watching and listening to the stuff that we put out there, AFS, are typically the people that are kind of on the fence when it comes to making health behavior change, particularly going to a place to exercise. What insights do you have for that person that is on the fence of making a decision, questioning whether they should or should not? What would you say? What would you say to them?
I am not going to be able to answer this in the short period of time because there's so many reasons that I think it's important. First of all, AFS, one of the best things about this place is the people. I mean, I have enjoyed the people. I have learned the staff. I've learned from them. You know, after getting to know Adam better, I agreed to take him on as a personal trainer. That was the best decision I ever made. My wife said, "How much is this going to cost?" And then after 3 weeks, really just 3 weeks, she looked at me and she said, "Doesn't matter what it costs. This is great. This is a really good thing." And then the other thing about this is coming to a place. I mean, it's pretty convenient for me. I don't live very far from here. It's about a 15-minute drive. But again, as I was saying earlier, you come to a place, you put in the time, you put in the work, you're done, you turn around and you get on with the rest of your life, and you walk out the door at the end and you feel like, you know, okay, I can check this day off. I've got it done. I've done something that's really good for myself, and then I can tend to the rest of my life. And so I like the fact that that you can come here and sort of compartmentalize this. I have you know, dumbbells and barbells and some equipment at the house. And before I joined up here again, I was using it all the time, which is how I injured myself. But that stuff is just sitting there idle, and I don't really regret it at all. I mean, every now and then I'll think, well, I can do a couple of curls or something like that. But I don't, because as I say, it's really nice to come here, get it done, and then move on with the rest of your life.
Yeah, love it. Love it. Awesome, Keith. Probably a couple topics we can keep going down the rabbit hole on,
Okay.
especially your coffee choice. But we'll leave that for another time. But thank
Well,
you.
it is taster's choice anyway.
Oh, okay. Got it. Right. But no, man, thank you for sharing the story. Like, again, this
Sure.
is people that hear from others that are in the process or have made changes to their health it's so valuable.
Kemper, I have told all my friends about my experience here. I can't believe there aren't at least some people that have joined up because of the story that I've told, because it's just been so positive.
Yeah.
I
love it, man. You're the best. Thank you. Appreciate that. We'll let you get to
Okay.
Adam's workout. And now the real fun actually starts to happen.
Oh.
We get to see those things in action.
Oh.
And that's our show for today. Thank you so much for sticking around, watching, learning. If you extracted some value, please share this with your friends and family. You can also click the subscribe link. I believe if you're on the Spotifys and Apples and you're listening to this, there's a subscribe link at the bottom of the episode. If you're watching on YouTube, bottom right of this video, you can click subscribe to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Thank you again for joining us on this episode. And with that being said, be well, stay connected, and take care of your health.